Mindanao was a frontier area of our restored Society of Jesus. Mindanao was always a special apostolic area of the society since then on. Our task is not to solve the major problems of Mindanao, God forbid. Our task in these days is simply to listen to each other, to dialogue and not debate, and see where might the star of God be leading us. My prayer is that this be a continuing conversation to articulate for ourselves our Mindanao agenda and see how we can work more closely and collectively for a peaceful, just, sustainably developed Mindanao.
We remain to believe that the moral struggle for freedom and self-determination is the longest and the bloodiest in the entire history of mankind. But history and research will show us that this is not the truth about our people.
But I think the conflict in Mindanao has become more complex than what history explains. We need more disciplines to appreciate the contributions to conflict of informal economy, of smuggling, drug deals, corruption, human trafficking.
I can only speak about the MLF peace process maybe, but we all know now na ang dami pang ibang dimensions ng conflict. Kaya ang tanong ko, so what's the plan now? Ang gusto kong malaman, what is the end goal? Assuming that you agree, okay, ito na, kompleto na, what MLF wants, what government wants to get from this review, assuming that you get this, how does it fit into the bigger scheme?
What's the connection between spirituality and leadership? Is there still hope for the ARMM if we actually make sure that for example, the leaders that we're producing, the students that we're, alumni that we are producing, would be able to influence the way things are running within their communities, would be able to influence the situation in Mindanao.
I used an oxymoron a while ago when I said the warrior peacekeeper. How can a warrior be a peacekeeper? What I mean is, the peacekeeper cannot be mediocre. The peacekeeper must have the heart of a warrior in ensuring that he keeps and builds the peace.
Corruption is the greatest shame and problem of our country. Our government has not eradicated it because it is involved in corruption itself.
This is the necessity already now to begin forming leaders who think in terms of the common good.
The need to form leaders who are humble, who are sincere, who are willing to say that we've committed mistakes and these ideas need to be replaced.
The second issue is care for the environment and climate change. Again, the CPCP has had 2 letters on this in 1988, what is happening to our beautiful land, and also in 2008, 20 years later, upholding the sanctity of life.
And it's something I think that comes out of reflection on the type of leaders that we sometimes have formed. They're very great, talented, strong leaders, but leaders for private good.
We are now thinking of the present, but I guess we need to think also of the future, especially for the students.
Father Mike Burrell, our Canadian Superior General, was just recently here to visit our communities, and one of his mantra was collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. Knowing that, our workforce are so limited, and we really need to collaborate with each other.
If your Father General's mantra is collaborate, 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 my mantra is partner or perish. So that's one.
As early as possible, as meaningfully as possible, we need to integrate the common sentiments of common people into the whole peace process.
It is a significant difference for a Madrazzo student to see a fellow seminarian from another faith, talk to them and share with them their experiences. This would help shape the worldview that they have, that the world is not only black and white, but it is in different shades of white and gray.
We would always like to look at a way out. And that way out is kind of a side door where you can go out and create or recreate a different reality according to your own perspective, and where you are the central voice in that reality.
The literature tells us that true wealth is in our people.
Empowerment of our people is wealth creation, for a nation's wealth is in its people. It is only through empowerment of the common tao that we shall break from the bondage of political warlordism and disrupt the decades-long cycle of violence and fully exploit the true wealth of our nation, our people.
How do we create wealth that responds to poverty without shooting ourselves in the feet, without alienating ourselves from the humanity that we have, because we all of a sudden find ourselves worshiping an alienated economics?
Isama natin, informal economy of conflict, nagkakaporta dito sa mga drugs, sa mga arms deal, corruption ito. Sana pag-usapan din natin yan, because aside from the economics of this corruption, it's also connected with peace. Corruption is violence. It kills.
Are we really in touch? Are our ears really on the ground in terms of the people that we're trying to help? Is it really trickling down to that level?
So the challenge now is how to repack Ignatian spirituality to the youth to make it more attractive and relevant to the youth. In Zamboanga, we realize also that Ignatian spirituality is palatable to the Muslims. They like it, but I'm sure the youth will like it also. But how can we repack Ignatian spirituality so that it will be more meaningful and relevant to the poor?
Religious leaders, the academe, Muslim religious leaders, who are the ones who are knowledgeable on what are the ideals, on what are the principles that people need to live by, have to come down from their pulpits.
It's not enough, my experience, it's not enough to run workshops. We have to have people in our institutions who are our presence there with them. Because basically you have to establish a personal relationship and trust. That's my experience. If we don't have that personal relationship and trust, it will go in one ear, go in the other.
Man is generally are in loss, looking, except those who believe, and those who search for truth, converse for truth. It stands for the truth, and those who are patient to stand by the truth and live by the truth.
What we need now are inspiration, images of good people, courageous people. We need more examples and model to imitate. We need images of hope and victories against evil works.
Even the church, the local churches, especially in Mindanao, paano ba yung spirit of solidarity among us? Sa akin, mangha-mangha ako doon sa pagbubugog na talagang may pagmamahal. Kahit tawagin hangal, talagang tinuro ang magmahal. At yun yung nasa puso ni Jesus. Yun yung magpili siya. Saan ako tutungo, anong ang landas na tara.